I understand why so many Americans look to Donald Trump and are excited about Donald Trump. He's a fearless leader. He's going to speak what's on his mind. He's the type of guy that seems he could face down other world leaders. Maybe he could fix the economy. Maybe he could do something about illegal immigration. And he's not a Washington insider, and he's independently wealthy. He's not beholden to anybody. And people have had it with wimpy leadership. People have had it with the political establishment. He speaks to the frustrations and anger of many Americans. I understand all that. What I question is whether evangelical Christians could support Donald Trump. That's my question. I'm not talking about the question of if Hillary Clinton was the Democratic candidate and Donald Trump was the Republican candidate, could we vote for him? That's an entirely other question. I'm talking about right now supporting him as the Republican nominee. I have some grave reasons why I doubt whether an evangelical Christian can really support Donald Trump. And look, what we would say is especially important to us is having a strong moral, conservative base, a biblical worldview. There's no evidence that Donald Trump has it. It's not just the fact that he made a lot of money over gambling casinos and doesn't seem to have any compunction about that, even think it's any issue. Not only the fact that he seems to have little understanding of forgiveness, saying, well, he never really asked God for forgiveness, but why should he? He's an honorable person. So he doesn't seem to understand those issues. But the recklessness of his speech, when the Word of God warns us about being hasty in speech or about just speaking whatever's in your heart, and says that's what a fool does. If this is what candidate Trump is doing, what would President Trump do? So recently, there was yet another issue. Let's remember the insult, Megyn Kelly insulting her, blood, and I won't get into more of that. Carly Fiorina, her face, Marco Rubio, his sweat. Then he goes further. Ben Carson, right? When Ben Carson said he had a pathological temper, and of course that was changed with his new birth and things like that, changed as a Christian. And Trump says, no, when you're like that, you can't change. It's just like a child molester. It's pathological. That was completely over the top. And I'm thinking, how can evangelical Christians support him, especially when you have other strong, God-fearing alternatives, other candidates in the Republican camp that would be strong on a number of key issues that are important to us and are God-fearing people. But what happened recently with New York Times reporter Serge Kovaleski, that's gone so far. And his response to the flap about it, that's gone so far, it really raises questions. So listen to what he had to say about this reporter, Serge Kovaleski.
Written by a nice reporter. Now the poor guy, you got to see this guy. Oh, I don't know what I said. I don't remember. He's going like, I don't remember. Maybe that's what I said. This is 14 years ago. They didn't do a retraction.
All right, so he's flailing with his arms. You got to see this guy, this poor guy, nice reporter, makes reference to him as if he knows exactly who he is. And what's the dispute? Trump claims that he saw thousands of Muslims celebrating the 9/11 destruction in New York City, the 9/11 terror attacks. And Kovaleski had reported that people were looking into reports of Muslims celebrating, but he said never did anyone say that there were thousands or even hundreds celebrating. And the reports of some celebrating, that was being looked into. So Trump says, well, now Kovaleski's denying, he can't remember. And people say, wait a second, Serge Kovaleski is a disabled man. He's been a reporter with Washington Post, Daily News, New York Times, so a respected journalist, obviously. But he's disabled. He's got a physical condition. So you see the pictures of him with his hand like this. So now Trump saying, no, I wasn't mocking his disability. Listen to what comes next.
The Republican frontrunner at a rally in South Carolina this week appearing to mock a journalist who is disabled.
Now the poor guy, you got to see this guy. Oh, I don't know what I said. I don't remember.
That reporter, the New York Times' Serge Kovaleski, who has a chronic condition affecting his joints that limits flexibility in his arms. On Thanksgiving, Trump tweeting, I do not know the reporter for the New York Times or what he looks like. I was showing a person groveling to take back a statement made long ago. The New York Times saying, we're outraged that he would ridicule the physical appearance of one of our reporters.
All right, now listen. You look at the footage. Look at the actual footage where Donald Trump is making fun of this man. Remember, he says, you got to see this guy. This poor guy, you got to see this guy. All right? And then he says, nice reporter, says that first, but then says this, you got to see this guy. Is he feeling like, wow, I don't remember? And Kovaleski's not saying I don't remember. He's just denying the Trump report. I don't remember. I don't remember. Is that what's going on? Or is he making fun of the guy? I mean, you look for yourself. Now it gets, there's one more element to it. One more clip I want to play. This is ABC News reporter. Listen to this last clip.
Trump not backing down this time either. Also tweeting, if Mr. Kowaleski is handicapped, I would not know because I do not know what he looks like. Kowaleski says he covered Trump for years, and in an interview with the Washington Post, Kowaleski says he was sure Trump remembered him and his condition.
Now listen, Trump says he's got one of the all-time greatest memories. He says he doesn't remember the guy, doesn't know what he looks like. Well, hang on. According to Kowaleski, he met with Trump at least a dozen times. They were on a first-name basis. And when you've got someone with a handicap like that, you're surely going to recognize that. You're surely going to remember that person, especially if you've got one of the all-time greatest memories. So it even seems now that Donald Trump is lying. I mean, some say, of course, he's lying. But let's just say it seems like he's lying. And the mockery towards this man is inexcusable. If he got up and humbled himself and said, I don't know what I was thinking, that's the cruelest thing I've ever done. I've helped people with disabilities for years with lots of money. I don't know what I was thinking. That's utterly foolish. And I apologize. I could respect him for that. But to scorn it, to say he doesn't even know the guy, hey, I have a proposal. Obviously, Donald Trump's security is tight enough and his business regimen tight enough that he must have a list of who he's met with and journalists he's done private interviews with. And Kowaleski, as a journalist, has certainly journaled it. It shouldn't be hard to find out if they've met a number of times before. And again, you look at the footage and you tell me if Trump was just saying, hey, I don't remember. Or if he's saying, no, this poor guy, you got to see this guy. If he's then mocking his physical appearance, you say, what's the big deal? That's not the man I want to be president of the United States. That I need a statesman. We can be fearless. He can be strong with words like Winston Churchill was. But I need a statesman. I need someone who's going to be responsible with his speech. I mean, look, Proverbs 29:20. What does it say? Do you see a man hasty in his words? There's more hope for a fool than him. Proverbs 29:11. A fool gives full vent to his spirit, but a wise man quietly holds its back. It's dangerous stuff. And what concerns me again is evangelical Christians kind of looking the other way because they think, well, we need a strong leader like Trump. What about the moral compass? What about the biblical worldview? What about a strong Christian ethic? And if there are any two words that go hand in hand, it's Trump and pride. And pride, in a certain sense, is the mother of all sins. And Trump is almost laughingly known for his pride with comments like, I'm very proud of myself. So listen, friends, I'm not telling you what to do or not to do when you vote. I'm simply saying, I'm giving you my personal opinion. I strongly question how an evangelical Christian can support Donald Trump for president when he is so reckless with his speech, when it's out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaks, when there's not a retreating, when there's not an apologizing, and now there may even be blatant lying. You're looking at cruelty. You're looking at wrong speech. Just could you imagine having the president of the United States, with all the power he has, just making cavalier statements like that and kind of accountable to no one because he's his own man? That's not what we need. Strong leader, yes. Fearless leader, yes. Beholden to no one, yes. I think we have a number of candidates that could fit that category and that could be strong leaders. We have alternatives as evangelicals, all right? I am just questioning as an evangelical how we could get behind Donald Trump. Feel free to differ with me. My phone lines are open, 866-348-7884 on the phone. Feel free to differ with me. Feel free to write into me through the website, AskDrBrown.org. Anytime, any day of the week, tell me why I'm wrong. I'm open, but I think I'm right here. And I encourage you to seriously give prayerful thought to these issues.